Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we have some massive news for the Book of Boba Fett. We're also going to be talking about the Andor series and more. So without much further ado and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So with just a day and a half to go until the Book of Boba Fett finale, I feel both really excited but also pretty sad that it's coming to an end. I've loved the journey this show has taken us on and I'm really going to miss it. And in spite of the fact that on occasion this show has been a little bit disjointed, this final episode is hopefully going to wrap the season up in a powerful and somewhat satisfying way. Although I highly suspect we're going to get a post-credits scene teasing a second season. Now, as we've been hearing from so many outlets, including Temuera Morrison himself, the last episode, Chapter 7, is set to wow audiences and apparently includes something that we didn't expect. Everyone has their own theory as to what that might be, but today, my dear friends, we have two really exciting updates that could hint at what the finale might hold. And we begin with a tease from ILM senior lighting artist Tom Martinek, who in response to a fan on Twitter who said they wanted a big action scene in the Boba finale, has teased that we are getting one. His response read, "Looking forward to a tweet from you next week." Now, for a big season finale, it's not too much to expect a big action scene, but having it be more or less confirmed by someone who worked on set is truly awesome. Temuera Morrison says that Chapter 7 is a stunner, and I believe him. He's been very forthcoming week by week on what to expect, as well as his own feelings towards the show and his own character. So I'm sure it's going to be great, and hopefully Boba has some dialogue in this one. But that piece of news, my dear friends, is not the biggest tease of the day, because Mark Guggenheim, the writer of the upcoming Han Solo and Chewbacca comic, has said that his comic series is going to feature some major characters from both Solo, A Star Wars Story, and the Book of Boba Fett, essentially saying that characters from both are going to interact in a significant way. He specifically name-dropped Black Krrsantan and Qi'ra, and while he did not explicitly say that characters from Solo are going to appear in the Book of Boba Fett, many fans have put two and two together, because he's implying there is some major overlap, not just in his comic, but also potentially in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, before you say that the comics may not have any implication on the Book of Boba Fett, bear in mind that Lucasfilm tell their writers beforehand story elements and characters that need to be included in the Star Wars comics, and if they gave him the direction of overlap between Solo characters and those from the Book of Boba Fett, the implication is that there is some overlap in the story, and I'm starting to think that's what's going to be teased in the last episode of Boba. Popular suspects are indeed Qi'ra and Han Solo, and Han appearing also means Chewie. If Chewbacca appears in the Book of Boba Fett, imagine the interaction he would have with Black Krrsantan. But let's take a look at what Mark had to say. In his own words, he said, "First, I happen to be a huge fan of Solo: A Star Wars Story. I don't feel like that film gets nearly the amount of love it should. I find it thoroughly entertaining and a great Star Wars movie, but also it was co-written by Lawrence Kasdan, who for my money is the single greatest writer of Han Solo ever, and I've tried my best to emulate his brand of dialogue, and I completely agree with him when it comes to Lawrence Kasdan, and by the sounds of things, this writer is going to do justice to the character of Han." The writer also discussed the challenges of writing Chewbacca, a character who speaks Shriwook instead of Galactic Basic. Mark Guggenheim said, "It's absolutely a challenge, but it's a fun one. In fact, I'm doubling down on it, literally and figuratively. And issue number 4 is going to be told exclusively from Chewie's point of view. And that's the issue that's also going to show Chewie interacting with Black K." He didn't want to spill the beans too much about Qi'ra, other than saying that issue number 3 of his comic is going to overlap with Crimson Reign, and I suspect one of the reasons he can't say anything might be because she has a role in live action as well. Intriguing stuff indeed. We'll just have to see how it all plays out.
Let things play out.
So now, my dear Megalorians, let's talk about the confusing situation of the Andor series. We know for certain that it's going to release this year in the 4th financial quarter, but there has been so much confusion over details, especially how many episodes. We know for a fact they filmed 12 episodes, but some reports have said that they're going to split this in 2 so that there'll be 6 episodes per season. But luckily, my dear friends, that's now been debunked, and we know that season 1 is going to have 12 episodes, so 12 whole weeks of Andor. And in a new interview, Stellan Skarsgård has confirmed that season 2 of the series is going to start production this fall. As we know, Tony Gilroy has a 3-season arc planned for Andor, and knowing there's going to be 12 episodes per season, that's looking to be one of the longest Star Wars series, second only to The Bad Batch, Not to mention, one of the most slept on series, but I promise you that's not going to be the case when it comes out. Now, in spite of that leak from the Disney executive that Andor is going to be released in the fiscal fourth quarter of this year, Stellan Skarsgård has said that he, along with other actors, have not been told when Andor is going to release, and he simply doesn't know what's going on. We know that the show has faced so many production delays, but at this point, Disney should have some sort of idea of when they're going to release it. So let's dive into this article from The Direct and discuss all the details. In an interview with DNSE, actor Stellan Skarsgård confirmed that Andor will be receiving a second season. The actor told the Swedish publication that after a brief break, he'll be returning to a few sets, including Andor come this fall. Due to the surge, Andor experienced delays that extended its production. Skarsgård himself isn't sure when the first season will be streaming, but suggested that the date will be selected with Season 2's release in mind. In his own words, he said, "I do not know when they will start broadcasting it. It will take some time so that it doesn't take too long between Season 1 and 2. And seeing trends in what's going on at Lucasfilm, I wouldn't be too surprised if Andor does get delayed another few months. Especially if Stellan Skarsgård is saying that Lucasfilm does not want too much of a gap between Seasons 1 and 2. And as we know, the second season has not even begun production yet. There have been rumours, as I said, that the Andor series would have 3 seasons, but Skarsgård's words are the first indicator that there is going to be more than one. And this is a show that we've known about for nearly 4 years, but due to the pandemic, it's been severely delayed. But with reports that post-production is completed, we should be getting our first official trailer very soon. We've already had a sizzle reel, but no official trailer. And so finally, my dear friends, is Bryce Dallas Howard one of the saviors of this franchise? Her episodes of The Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, as well as chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, are considered some of the best across both series. A lot of fans have been saying that her magic could be what revitalizes Star Wars, and some fans really want her to direct her own trilogy or helm a future series as the showrunner, and I personally agree. And bear in mind, she is not just a director, but also a massive Star Wars fan who understands what makes Star Wars so special, and the same goes for many others, but with chapter 5 being fresh in our memories, a lot of fans are realizing her potential. But what she's done for Star Wars cannot be overstated, so let's hope at some point she does get her own series, kind of like what Deborah Chow did for Kenobi, but with Bryce, maybe something in the Mandoverse would be really epic, because her treatment of Mandalorian culture and Din Djarin has been superb. But otherwise, my dear friends, that brings us to the end of this news update. Let me know your thoughts on everything we spoke about in the comments down below. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and a huge welcome if you are, and why not consider becoming a patron? The link is down there as always, go check it out. But until the next one, my dear friends, may the force be with you always. I'm Star Wars Meg, have a good one.